Welcome to my channel, Seeing Blind. My name is Cindy, and these are my 10 tips and recommendations for parents and grandparents with a disability. Hey, if you like this video, don't forget to show some love and hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so that you can stay updated on all my future videos. Number 1, you are not alone in this game. We all feel isolated at times, and it's important during these moments to reach out to your family and friends and resources in your area to help you get through. We all experience those dark times when our social life is dead, we just don't relate to anyone and can't get a break. So here's some statistics. I read in some of my personal research that, number 1, there are not a lot of data collection on parents with disabilities. However, it's estimated 1 in 10 kids have a parent with a disability. That's pretty significant. So know that you are not alone. There's a lot of us, and there's a strong community out there. Tip number 2. It's never too early or too late to research, reach out, and connect with a support system. This can be in the form of social media groups like on Facebook or in your local town. There are tons of Facebook groups out there that are generalized for parents with a disability or more specific to your disability and need. Also, church groups can be a great resource and a great place to turn to when you need a little extra support and love. So go ahead, make a few connections there, because you never know when you're going to have an issue or a problem or a crisis and you need a little extra support. Tip number 3. Try not to get weighed down by the fears and concerns regarding your disability. As parents, none of us have all the answers, right? We're all fumbling through, doing the best we can, and finding the tips and tricks that work for us. So I always found myself getting really anxious in the beginning and just scared when I thought of those instances and questions like, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do when this happens? While these are important questions, I found that when I stayed in that state of thinking, I was so weighed down by the anxiety of it all that I didn't put as much energy in thinking creatively to solve those issues. So don't let yourself get in that spiral and think that you are not a good parent because of your disability. Okay, so tip number 4, always try to think creatively and outside the box. You never know when something can be used for a dual purpose. For example, in my own personal research, I saw a few people that mentioned bringing pizza cutters with them to help cut up their kids' food quick, easy, and safely in a restaurant. Brilliant! Love that idea. So pizza cutter is now coming with me anytime I go to a restaurant. Some tips and tricks out there aren't going to work for everyone, and sometimes they will. And it's great when you find those little gold nuggets. But you know what your strengths and weaknesses are. So it's important to always have your thinking cap on so that when things that may frustrate you, you're always thinking creatively to see if maybe you can find a way to make that task a little easier. Next tip, try not to compare yourself to other parents. Whether a parent has a disability or not, we are all guilty of this one. It's important that we not compare each other because every kid and every parent is different. We have different responses and different reactions and different personalities. So we're each going to have our own separate individual experience with parenthood. So when you see other parents doing something and you feel like you need to do it too, not sure why, but it just looks like it works for them, I caution you in those moments. Do what works for you. And don't think that you have to change or do anything differently because someone else is or because it worked for them. We can all be our worst critics, and we can doubt our ability to be good parents because of our disability. We are not lesser parents because we have a disability. Each of us are just as capable of loving our children, raising them, and being good parents despite having a disability. So try to avoid comparing yourself to other parents. Do what works for you. Tip number 6, stay organized and get in that habit. I encourage the habit because it really is that. Sometimes staying organized is really difficult, especially when you add kids in the mix. They can make for a very hectic and complicated and just fast-paced life. So it's important to always get in that habit of putting things immediately back after using them so that when that need for whatever it is arises again, you know exactly where it is and can quickly get to it. So there's all kinds of different types of organizers out there, and you can use them in so many creative ways, whether it's clipping them to doors or hanging them on the back of doors, or clipping one to a wheelchair or to the back of a child's high chair or anything like that. Gosh, there's all kinds of different combinations out there, and there's tons of products out there. But they could help you stay organized and keep those necessities like wipes readily accessible so that you're not running around trying to find, where did I put this? Where did this go? Causing yourself more frustration because you can't find what you need when you need it. So do your best, get in the habit of staying organized because it will make your life with kids that much easier. My next tip is know your own strengths and limitations, accept them, and move on. I know this may seem a little harsh. It's almost like I'm saying, hey, get over it. I'm not, but at the same time I am. It's important, just like in careers, to know your strengths and know your weaknesses. Know what you are really good at and know where your disability may provide limitations and may prevent you from doing specific tasks or things or travel. Get comfortable and accept them so that you can move on to creative thinking, so that you can not get bogged down by those negative feelings around it. And when those limitations come up, we aren't bitter or frustrated, we are prepared and we're in that headspace to think creatively. Okay guys, we're almost to the end. Tip number 8 is try to think ahead, be prepared, and have a contingency plan, people. So kids, you have to be flexible with them. You can have one idea in your head for an activity or an outing, and trust me, they are going to have a different one. So know that anything can happen, and if you are prepared and have a backup plan, it's still most likely to be a successful experience for everybody. You're not going to be as frustrated, you're not going to be as irritated because you have the materials you still need to have a good time. So give yourself plenty of time, extra time. If you think you need an extra half an hour, give yourself a full hour to make sure that you pack every material, that any rides or transportation or anything like that, people are aware you're going out, and if something happens, they are on call in case you might need a little extra support and assistance while out. But regardless, whatever that preparation and contingency is in place so that no matter what happens, you are prepared, you're ready, and the kids and you will have a much better experience for it. This tip is for my mamas out there, number 9, and it's about breastfeeding. So if you are comfortable and open and able to breastfeed, I do recommend it, and not just for all the health benefits that the latest research show, but because really, especially for visually impaired or blind moms out there, it really made my life personally more easier. Yes, it takes work in the beginning. Yes, it can be painful and you go through phases of both, learning, latching, and all that great stuff. Once you get past that initial rough phase, it really pays off and it makes feedings a lot easier to manage. For me, I didn't have to worry about measuring the formula versus water and ounces and how much to put in a bottle and all the cleanup of bottle parts and nipples and all the stuff that can come with a lot of different styles these days. Especially made the nighttime feedings that much easier because I could do it completely in the dark. I could do it all by feel. It really made the night times, which let's face it, sleep deprivation is a disability in and of its own, right? So it really made those nighttime feedings a little bit easier. I didn't have to go to the kitchen, worry about the light hurting my eyes or anything like that, and am I measuring correctly and all that stuff. If you are in a wheelchair or if you are unable to move quickly or anything like that, I would think it could also benefit you in that way as well, because it just eliminates that preparation time. You are quickly able to get to your baby and to feed and to get them back into bed and get yourself back into bed so that you can maintain as much of that precious sleep as possible. All right, guys, here we are, tip number 10, and it is don't hesitate to utilize other people in your children's life. In other words, the truth is, other people in your children's life may be able to do things that you cannot, and that is completely okay. They are not going to fulfill your role as the parent. You are still their mommy or daddy, and if grandma is able to do something with them that you are not, or the other parent, or a babysitter, they are not going to take your place in any way because they are able to do something or provide a service or provide an experience to your child that you cannot. Utilize that. Make it a positive thing. For example, my daughter is really into nail polish and play makeup and dressing up like a princess, and all of that is great. I can comb her hair and put it in a ponytail and put barrettes in. Can't always see that it's pretty, but I can do it. However, she wants her fingernails painted sometimes, and I cannot do that. I can't even see my own fingernails. And so when a babysitter comes over or when grandma comes over, I encourage them to do that activity because it's something I cannot provide. Now, am I jealous that everyone else is able to do something that she truly loves? And could I feel disappointed that I can't do that when she asks? Sure, maybe a little. Maybe at one point or another. That's all right though. Hey, the way I see it is my child is still happy. She's healthy. She knows she's loved by her mom. And if there is something that I can't do, I take comfort that I know someone else in her life can still do it. All right, guys, you made it. This is a screenshot of the 10 things I've talked about. Please note, I am not a health professional. These are just my opinions, but I do hope they helped you. If they did, hit that like button and subscribe.